Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Lars Lütze. I am a user interface engineer at Mercedes and I thank you for the invitation today. I want to tell you something about me. I am from a small town called Filderstadt. It's close to Stuttgart in Germany, about 500 kilometers from here, and close to the fair and airport of the city of Stuttgart. It's really a small town, 45,000 citizens. In my spare time, I have a lot of different interests. I was active in politics. I wanted to change things. I do a lot of sports. I run, I play tennis, doing snowboarding. I travel a lot. Last week I was in Greece and tried to help in rescue the European Union. I played the cello and the saxophone, and of course I'm very interested in new technologies. So I studied technology management at the University of Stuttgart and automobile engineering. I focused there on the user interface or user interaction, ergonomics and technical design. For me, the user interaction was always an amazing combination of arts and science, logic and creativity. During that time, I had also the chance to experience other cultures. I lived in Los Angeles for more than a year, which was really impressive in a metropolitan area with 13 million people. Something totally different than here in Germany. After that, I wrote a dissertation, again to the user interaction, model-based development, this time the acoustic user interactions, so speech dialogue systems in automobile. After that, I did different projects for Mercedes to augmented reality, a totally new method or possibility to interact with the environment. Also for truck telematics, there I had again the chance to go to the Silicon Valley and experience the very innovative and intercultural situation there. Yeah, right now like I said, work for Mercedes on the next generation user interface. How can we interact with the automobile tomorrow? I'm responsible, or I handle all the innovation projects which will come the next years. And talking about user interaction with the automobile is always also talking about interaction with the city around us, with the people, with the infrastructure, with other vehicles. So I'm really interested, what do you think, what we think the future city will look like, and looking forward to the next days. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hi, my name is Aisen Karuchasin, and I currently live in Tsukuba, Japan, where I'm getting my PhD in empowerment informatics at the University of Tsukuba. I started in sculpture, and then I moved into design and technology. So currently I design devices for sensory substitution. I'm going to show you a few of my works called Sensory Pathways for the Plastic Mind. It was my master's thesis, and it's now expanding into my PhD research. So the first project is called the Player Grill, and it's inspired by grills that rappers wear. And I thought that it would be interesting to make this the actual player, because it's this arbitrary jewelry object, but it has a lot to do with music. So I installed a MP3 player and attempted a tongue controller and used some motors on the molars for bone conduction, so you can actually listen through your teeth. And there were two different designs. The first one was really clunky. I don't recommend wearing it because it makes you gag. But the second one, I actually started using dentist tools. And it's a little bit better, but obviously still a prototype. The second interface is the echolocation headphones. And these headphones use a parametric speaker which is a speaker that uses 2 ultrasonic sound waves and it demodulates in air. And so what it does is it creates a beam of sound. And so if you're on either side, you can't really hear it so well. But once you're right in front of the speaker, you can hear it very well. So with this technology, it was using it in order to use it as a probe, scanning probe. So whenever it reflects off of a surface, you can actually hear the space around you. So in an idea is listening to space, so translating vision into sound. The third project is called the Scent Rhythm, which is a watch that tells time with scent. And the way that this works is I divided the 24-hour day into 4, morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime. And the idea is that this watch puts you on time. It doesn't necessarily only signal the time to you. So it uses a mixture of scents and chemicals so that in the morning, for example, it smells like coffee, but it also gives you a little bit of a dose of caffeine. And so on. In the afternoon, it smells, I forgot what it smells like in the afternoon. In the evening, it smells like whiskey and tobacco. Relax after 6. And it gives you a little bit of valerian. And in the evening, it smells like chamomile, and it actually gives you melatonin as well. So it doesn't only signal to you, hey, it's the morning, even though you should probably be able to tell that yourself, but it gives you chemical signals for you to actually be put on time. And the next project is Iruka Tact, which is the project that I'm exhibiting here. It's a collaboration with Takeshi Ozu, who is also a student at the Empowerment Informatics program in the University of Tsukuba. And this glove is a submersible haptic search probe. So what it does is that it uses a sonar sensor, which you can see under the wrist, and then it translates the distance to the ground into haptic pulses that you can feel on the fingertips. So it uses motors as pumps, and so you have pumps in each finger, and it collects the surrounding water and then pressurizes it under the finger. So the closer you are to an object, the stronger the water jet. And we have some demo tanks for you to try it out. But I think that the glove is stronger than the demo, so anyways, yeah, please go check it out. And the last project is called Love at First SWAB. And this is a collaboration that I've been working on with a few friends in Turkey, actually. And what it is we're trying to use the HLA region of our DNA, of our genes, in order to match people for a dating site. So it's actually using genetic information in order to match you with somebody that would smell like a good partner. The HLA gene is what dictates our immunity. And so there's been some controversial studies about having, the more different your HLA genes are from each other, the more likely you are to like each other's smell and have good chemistry. So this would be using genetics not for matching people and making the best baby, but for matching people to having the best chemistry. So we're hoping to launch this as a company. We're kind of working on this and trying to get funding and so on. But yeah, so that's all of my work for now. And thank you so much. I'm really excited to work with you guys.
Hi, my name is Hagar El-Azari. I'm a light artist, an industrial designer. I also have a background in civil engineering. I create interactive light installations, which sometimes use digital interactivity and sometimes analog interactivity. I would like to introduce two of my projects and talk a little about why I'm here. The first project is called Hatch. It was created for the Amsterdam Light Festival. It's a kinetic light installation, which creates the illusion of space, and also creates a lifelike movement at the bottom of it. It was also exhibited at the Jerusalem Light Festival that year. And the second project is called Triangolini. It's actually an analog interactive light installation. It's based on a big flat light source, on top of which are applied 4 layers of reusable pre-cut stickers, and people actually moved the stickers around to create different shades and forms. I'm here because I think that urban art will have a significant role in our future cities. It could have different roles in relation with our well-being and with our connection to one another, and also on our light systems. And I hope to explore the subject further with you. That's it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adrian Dabrowski. I'm a PhD candidate in Vienna and employed as researcher at SBA Research. And I also spent quite some time in Tokyo. And some of the projects I will present today briefly originate from my collaboration with the NII in Tokyo. My general topic is privacy and security in infrastructure and large-scale systems. It's a topic that I've been interested in for quite some time now. Almost 10 years ago, I started with so-called capture the flag contests, which the media likes to coin hacking contests, where we for our university, take part in a competition against around 80 other universities and try to hack our systems and secure our own systems and hack the others. And we actually won this competition 2 times in the last years. And some other project I've been involved in involves robotics, autonomous sailing vessels, and I've also been on the organizing team of the Big Brother Awards in Austria for several years. So let's start with the first large-scale installation, security installation. This was actually my master thesis. So in Austria, we have the strange situation that most mailboxes, delivery mailboxes, are inside of multi-party buildings in the staircase or in the lobby, and you need the postman to get into these buildings. And actually, in the 70s, they started with a small key that you can put into the door intercom system, and that automatically opens the front door of almost every multi-party building in Vienna and several other cities in Austria. And recently they realized that this key isn't very secure, and there are millions of copies circulating, and so they started with an electronic alternative. which first were given out to postmen, but then to emergency services, to garbage collection. So we still have a very wide user base for these keys. And I actually looked at the security of these keys and discovered that they're actually not very more secure than the old mechanical key. For example, I used a RFID reader that I put in a post parcel, send it to myself, and during delivery, it actually scanned and recorded the keys of the postman that touched my, my parcel. After that, I was able to create copies with and open doors with, for example, with old reprogrammed ski passes. Another project of mine is about telecommunication security. Actually, we all as a society have been very weak on securing our own communication. Just to demonstrate it for you, it took me today less than a minute to find the frequency that the Ars Electronica organizers are using here. And you can actually listen to them. For the large-scale communication infrastructures like GSM or mobile phone networks, it isn't much better. It is a little bit better. These standards, these telecommunication networks, come from a time where a lot of also democratic Western countries weighed national security far more than privacy of their own citizens. So we have actually very weak encryption standards that were deliberately weakened. And why this was a, let's call it backdoor, that 20 years ago only very few security services could use. Today, almost everyone with about with a budget of about 1,000 or 1,500 euros can actually build a device to track and snoop mobile phones. And while back then in the 80s, mobile phones were only something for very few people, today actually our whole society and sectors of the economy depend on a reliable and secure telecommunication network. So as part of my current work, I'm working on detecting these so-called IMSI catchers or stingray devices that can be used to eavesdrop and track mobile phone users. And just think about it, we heard it before, we're using the mobile phone for social networks, we're using it for bank transactions, we're using it in logistics, for example, in economy. So this has actually become a core building stone of our modern economy and of our modern society. So that's why it's important to get it secure. And the third project I'd like to present briefly is the project I actually started in Tokyo. It's about unintentionally and involuntarily photographed people. The problem today is that in former times you took a photo, you put it in your photo album, and then it was in your photo album. But today we put it online. And while this picture is online, it actually accumulates a lot of metadata. So we start with the GPS information that most mobile phones currently attach to every picture you take. But then with modern face recognition techniques such as partially built in Facebook or Picasa or all these other web albums, large-scale computer infrastructure is able to identify people, to derive more metadata out of these pictures. Then this picture get a context by being linked or tagged on a social network. It gets context by the text that someone posts to it or by a comment that someone posts to it. Or when it appears in a newspaper article, it gets context just from this article. And then after it accumulates all this additional data, it then gets into a search engine and gets searchable for all other people by this metadata, by your identity. And the project I started at NII is, we can call it robots.txt for your own picture. A robots.txt is actually a system for website operators to define which part of the website comes into a search engine and is indexed and which part comes not. And I asked myself, why only website operators have this privilege? Every one of us should have the privilege to decide what should and should not be done with his or her own picture. So we are in this project we are currently working on. It's about automatically infer people's privacy policy based on the image they provide. So, for example, we can encode privacy policies into unobtrusively into patterns of wardrobe, or we can use the mobile phone that broadcasts the privacy policy to other phones nearby. So when they photograph you, the owner of this picture knows that you don't like to be posted on social networks, and the social network or the search engine can later on automatically infer that you should not be indexed and searchable. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'm looking forward for great days here.
Hello, my name is Karl Paleczka, and I will make it short, so I will stick to hopefully to the 5 or 4 minutes. Similar like Adrian, I don't know where he's sitting now, I'm Austrian, and you can write me an email, connect me on Twitter or whatever you want, or I'm currently an entrepreneur, so I founded my company 2.5 years ago, but I will tell you a little bit later on that. I have sort of an academic background, so but it was mainly related to all the work experience. So I was always studying when I was already working, mainly due to the fact that I wanted to know a little bit more from the theoretical background what I'm doing or where I'm hiding to. Started in Vienna with business administration. A lot of my studies were mainly related to business studies, but from the, let's say, from the early beginning, I was extremely interested in technology and what you can do with technology and with the possibilities that you can generate. So I did my master thesis on telework and did a lot of telecommunication related activities from the research perspective, and that brought me to the professional background. I started working with an Austrian very large insurance group where I introduced a working system for 3,500 involved employees, and moved on to the largest Austrian or Central European telecommunications provider as an innovation manager, and did already introduced in 2006 car floating data where we analyzed the movement of, let's say, the mobile phones without GPS at that time. We analyzed the car floating information and could already predict let's say, the movement of the different people and could predict traffic jams and all these things. Luckily, I had the chance to join Nokia. At that time, it was the largest mobile manufacturer of the world. I think you all know the story. Was responsible for 15 different countries, from Switzerland down to Israel. Responsible for all the internet services and everything that was related to the internet services, what you could do with it. And in 2013, I founded Mobius, a very small startup company based in Vienna. So what are we doing? So we are mainly focusing and concentrating on proximity technologies. So everything that is circling around with NFC, iBeacon or Eddystone technology and what you could do. So we are not doing the, I would say, the mainstream stuff that is related with this technology. We are doing different kind of service, or sometimes as well hacking all these technologies to develop products and services. I'm still engaged with 2 research projects. One is called Playmobi. That's an, I would tell, when someone asks me what is Playmobi, it is a mobile game organized with a lot of different university. It's a mobile game where the people are tracked based on their habit automatically. It's based on Android. The phone can recognize if he's walking, if he's driving a car, whatever. And Playmobi is with stimulation of gamification aspects, driving the people to a certain specific, let's say, behavior where they could paint cities in colors. Another one is Clear for Cities, a research project, where we are analyzing mainly probes in the different cities for carbon, oxygen, and using the movement profiles of the different people to reduce carbon, oxygen in the cities. A third pillar, and I would say our most interesting pillar of our company is we are developing our own services and solution. We started 2013 with the NDIF library. NDIF library is a very technical aspect, so most mobile phones who do have proximity technologies included could not exchange data from one operating system to another. We created NDIF library. With that, it was very easy to exchange data from Windows phones to Android phones and now to iOS phones with that library. And based on that technology, we invented a service or a framework called NearSpeak, where we worked a lot with the community of visually impaired and blind people. And the outcome of that is an open source project. It is called NearSpeak, where we call it augmented reality for visually impaired. And I will end my slides with a short video so that you can imagine what's behind.
This is Tom. Tom is visually impaired. Thanks to many progresses in modern day life, Tom is able to get around better than ever before. However, something as simple as eating out is still an everyday challenge. For example, let's place Tom inside a well-respected, busy restaurant. Here he has to wait until someone notices he needs assistance. It can take a great deal of effort simply finding out what the current specials are and what's good on the menu. This can lead to other problems, such as patrons getting slightly restless, both embarrassing Tom and reflecting badly on the establishment. Thankfully, there's a better way. Introducing NearSpeak. Thanks to NearSpeak's advanced proximity and voice technologies, Tom is able to turn his handheld device into an audible guide, letting Tom know how close he is to the restaurant of his choice. All you have to do is ensure your establishment is equipped with a NearSpeak-enabled iBeacon, and it will instantly be detected by the NearSpeak app when close by, allowing people such as Tom to know what the specials are, how much they cost, and even if you sell his favorite soft drink. Whether you run a restaurant, bar, cafe, or any other establishment in the catering industry, you can now help break down barriers for visually impaired people and make them regular customers. NearSpeak augmented reality technology makes it easy. For more details, contact us.
So NearSpeak is available as open source, and everybody can, let's say, create his own project based on the technology. Thank you.